Hey there. So let's talk about something that can make even the most confident person a little nervous. Interview questions. But not just any interview questions. The ones that make you tell a story. You know, the tell me about a time sort of questions. These are called behavioral questions. And here's why they're so common. Employers want to get a sense of how you actually think and act on the job. Because let's be real. Anyone can say, oh, I'm great under pressure. But when you have a real story to back it up, that's when you make an impression. Now, if you're thinking, oh no, what if I don't have the perfect story? Or what if I freeze up? Don't worry, that's why we're here. I'll walk you through exactly how to handle these questions, how to come up with great answers, and how to keep it natural, like you're just having a chat with a friend. By the end of this video, you will have a plan, some examples, and most importantly, a boost in your confidence to tackle any behavioral question that comes your way. All right, so first things first. Why do hiring managers ask these questions in the first place? Think of it this way. They don't just want to know if you can technically do the job. They want to see if you're the kind of person who would handle situations in the way that fits their company culture. They're trying to predict your future performance based on your past behavior. So they will ask things like, tell me about a time when you faced a big challenge, or give me an example of a time when you disagreed with a team member. It's really just a way of saying, show us how you're wired. But here's the best part. You can totally prepare for this. You don't have to scramble for answers on the spot. The key is to have a few solid stories ready to go. Stories that show off your best skills. And don't worry, your stories don't have to be mind-blowingly dramatic. You just need to show that you handle the situation thoughtfully and creatively, or show some leadership. There's a little formula called the STAR method that helps you construct and structure your answers so they're clear and easy to follow. And trust me, STAR is going to be your best friend. Now here's how it goes. S is for situation. This is where you set the stage for your story. Just a quick what's going on background. Now T is for task. Here you explain what your role was in the situation. A was for action. This is where you talk about what you did to handle the situation. And this is the meat of your answer. It's where you shine. And R is for result. Wrap it up by sharing the outcome. What changed because of the actions you took? Now let's run through an example so you can see how STAR makes it easy to keep things organized. Imagine you were asked, tell me about a time you had to meet a tight deadline. You could say something along the lines of, a few months ago, we were working on a high priority software launch that was pivotal for our client. Midway through, we encountered an unexpected delay due to vendor issues. Now that is your situation, so you're setting the scene. Now for the task, you can say, as the project manager, my responsibility was to realign timelines, manage resources effectively, and ensure the team stayed focused. That is your task. Now, here comes the action. I restructured the project plan, prioritized critical tasks, and held daily 15-minute stand-ups to keep everybody aligned and informed and aware of progress. I also coordinated with the vendor to accelerate delivery and worked closely with team leads to troubleshoot any issues quickly. Finally, the results. We managed to launch the software on schedule, exceeding the client's expectation and earning positive feedback. The experience strengthened our team's collaboration and boosted trust with the client. Do you see how it just flows? The STAR method makes it so easy for the interviewer to follow along and for you to stay on track because you have a framework. So how do you get started with this? I'd recommend creating a sort of story bank or a story repository. Now think about this as a library of the moments from your career, from your education, from your personal life even, where you showcased certain skills. You can include times when you had to handle pressure, resolve conflicts, or take on leadership position on something. The beauty of a story bank is that you can prepare a handful of go-to stories, and chances are that you'll be able to adapt one of them to fit most questions you're asked during an interview. Now let's look at some questions that might come up during an interview and how you can tackle them using the STAR approach. Imagine you go for an interview and you're asked, tell me about a time you had to learn something quickly. This is a great opportunity for you to showcase your adaptability skills. So you'll start with something along the lines of, a couple of years ago, my boss asked me to take over a project that used use the software I'd never worked with before, and the deadline was just a few weeks away. For the task, you say something like, my task was to learn this software extremely fast and get the project done. In action, you can say something like, I immediately looked up tutorials, reached out to a colleague who knew the software well, and spent extra hours learning it in the evenings on my own. And then the result will be that by the end of the week, I had gotten the hang of it and completed the project on time. My boss even complimented me for handling it so smoothly. There you go. You just show that you're quick to learn, you're resourceful, you're committed to getting things done. These are the kind of qualities that managers love. Now let's look at another example. How about this question? Tell me about a time when you had a disagreement with a coworker. Now remember, they're not looking for drama here. They want to know if you can handle conflicts professionally. So the situation might be something along the lines of, I was working on a team project where one of my coworkers and I had different ideas on how to approach the task. For the task, you could say it was my responsibility to make sure that we had a clear plan that everybody could agree on. In the actions, you can say something like, I set up a one-on-one meeting with them where I listened to their point of view, shared my ideas, and then suggested a compromise that combined elements from both our approaches. And then for results, in the end, we moved forward with a combined plan and it ended up being really successful. Plus, we gained a lot of respect for each other as part of that process. This answer shows that you're a team player, a good listener, and someone who can find solutions. And remember, with a little tweaking, the same story could work for questions about problem solving or collaboration. Now I know you might be thinking, what if I don't have the perfect story for every question? Do not stress. A lot of questions are flexible and a single story can be most times tweaked to answer multiple questions. The key is to emphasize the parts of your story that match the question. One more tip I'd love to share is to keep the tone positive and forward thinking when you're telling your story. Even if the story involves a setback or a challenge, show that you learned something or that the experience helped you grow. Interviewers are drawn to candidates who can see the silver lining in tough situations. Here's another pro tip. Practice your stories out loud. I know it can feel a little bit awkward talking to yourself, but trust me, it's one of the best ways to get comfortable with your answers. You'll find any areas that feels a bit clunky and make it sound more natural. Try recording yourself as well and listening back or practice with a friend. It makes a huge difference in helping you sound more confident. And while you're at it, let's talk about keeping your answers concise. Ideally, each story should be around 1 to 2 minutes. Think of it as a mini story, not a novel. That way you keep the interviewer engaged and leave them wanting to hear more. Also, if you're enjoying these tips so far, make sure to subscribe so you can stay in the loop for more advice like this one. I'm always sharing insights to help you nail your career goals. Alrighty, let's run through one last example. Something that shows leadership. Maybe they'll ask a question like, tell me about a time when you took the initiative. This question is your chance to show that you are proactive. So here is how you might approach this question. In the situation part, you can say, in my last job, our team was behind on a project because one of the team members was unexpectedly out. So the task, we needed someone to take charge and coordinate things to get back on track. From an action perspective, you can say something like, I offered to step in, created a new schedule to make up for lost time, and delegated tasks based on everyone's strengths. And finally, the result, we were able to finish the project by the deadline and my manager appreciated my initiative and problem solving. Now, this answer highlights leadership, problem solving, and a can-do attitude. And you know what? You're showing that you don't just sit back, you take action when things get tough. So as we wrap up, let's remember a few key points. Be ready with your story bank, practice using STAR approach, keep your tone positive, and keep it brief and engaging. Behavioral questions might seem tricky at first, but with a little preparation, they become a chance for you to shine. You've got this. Good luck with your interviews, and remember, these questions are your chance to show them just how impressive you are. If you found this helpful, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more insightful tips to level up your career game. And if you're looking for even more insights, check out our video on 11 words to avoid in your resume at all costs. You won't want to miss it. Thank you for watching and go crush it out there. Good luck and peace.